jaundiced, and parents are very, very anxious. They've just had a newborn, it's barely 24 hours, and the doctor comes and says, your baby's jaundiced. And parents are like, oh dear, what's happened to our little one? They're devastated. So one of the few things that is really important for you as nurses is to recognize how the baby looks when it's jaundiced. So first of all, you'll see it's starting on the face. The baby's color starts turning yellow, and then it starts spreading to the body, and the entire body. You'll find that the eyes start to look yellow. The white part of the eyes is now looking yellow, and the baby is quite sleepy, not feeding too well. And then you would do this TCV test. This is the TCV meter. You simply place it on the baby's forehead, or you might place it on the baby's chest, and you get a TCV reading. Now this TCV reading is actually telling you how much bilirubin is in the baby's system. And if this reading is in the normal range, it means the jaundice isn't that bad, even if the baby looks a little yellow, but it's not in the dangerous level. Now you'll say bilirubin, TCV level, what is all this? Now normally our livers are quite prepared to get the bilirubin conjugated. What is conjugated? Bilirubin turns into a water-soluble form, isomer specifically, and that can be excreted from the body easily. But in babies, sometimes the liver is immature. It's not able to do the conjugation. It's not able to convert the bilirubin into the water-soluble form, so it can be excreted from the body. Now, why is this bilirubin so important? If it's not excreted, it can damage the baby's brain, eyes can be affected, and so we really need to look at it. And there is a remedy for that. It's not all, that you have to panic about. Yes, if you're in the hospital and it's a term baby, it's all good. If it's a preterm baby, that means baby is born before time, then it can be a little tricky, and the doctors will take more immediate action for your baby. So now the question is, yes, we understand bilirubin, we understand checking, but where does all this bilirubin come from that we start getting worried? Normally, we have what we call adult hemoglobin in our body. But the baby, when it's born, has got fetal hemoglobin. And this fetal hemoglobin is different from adult hemoglobin. The fetal hemoglobin needs to be actually broken down and replaced by adult hemoglobin. And this is the process Mother Nature does. All the fetal cells, the red blood cells are now being broken down, lots of bilirubin released into the bloodstream and replaced by adult hemoglobin. And that is the bilirubin we are talking about. That is the bilirubin that needs to be converted into the water-soluble form and excreted from the body. So how is it excreted? Through baby's pee and through baby's poo. These are two forms two ways of eliminating the bilirubin from the baby's body. So what happens if the skin test shows a high bilirubin level? In that case, the doctor would order a blood test, and then the serum bilirubin, as it's called, is the final correct measurement of the baby's bilirubin. So once we get the serum bilirubin at a high level, doctors are now ready to start the treatment. And what is the treatment? The treatment is a form of light therapy that we subject the baby to, and that helps to convert the bilirubin to the water-soluble form, bypassing the liver so that it can now get excreted through the urine and the stool. So that's the treatment. Now, how does this phototherapy happen? The baby is generally exposed. Everything is, removed. We just leave the diaper on. So all the clothes are removed, and, we have to remove the hat. Everything is out. And then you can start putting the baby under the special ultraviolet lights. So the ultraviolet lights are what constitutes phototherapy. So now phototherapy or the ultraviolet radiation is really harmful for the baby's eyes. So we protect the baby's eyes with eye shields, and this is actually placed on the baby's eyes to protect the baby's eyes. So I think I won't open it because this is sealed, but basically it's a form of eye cover for the baby's eyes. So we cover the baby's eyes, we leave the baby exposed just with the diaper on, and then we can start the light therapy. Now the light therapy, if the baby is really jaundiced, you actually can start with the Billy blanket. This is the Billy blanket, and it's generally placed under the baby, just like this. So baby is getting the ultraviolet radiation from the bottom. Then you can actually start using the overhead lights. And so with the overhead lights, we get it so that the lights fall directly on the baby. And the baby's skin, as you can see, is exposed. The eyes are covered, and that's how the baby would be getting the phototherapy. So the next question is, how long does this phototherapy continue? This phototherapy is continuously given for 12 to 24 hours. And at 12 hours, generally the doctor would check the bilirubin level and see if it's gone down. So in between, when baby needs to feed, which is super important, the mom can then, ask to get these lights off, turned off, and then she can breastfeed the baby. And then after breastfeeding, she can put the baby back under the lights. So the light goes on continuously, and baby is recovering at very fast speed. So usually in about 12 hours of continuous phototherapy, the bilirubin levels do come down. But it could require more time in certain cases, but it always does come down. So the benefit is that during this time, we ensure that the bilirubin levels are down to normal before the baby is sent home. And it's really super important to, check on the baby and make sure certain things are happening for the baby. Now, one of those things is the temperature control. Every 4 hours, we'll be checking the temperature, because one of the side effects could be the temperature could go high. So we want to keep a check on the temperature. Second, we want to make sure that the breastfeeding is going well. And suppose you say the baby's sleepy, it's not feeding, hand express or use the pump, get the milk out, and feed the baby with that breast milk. You could use formula in cases where the bilirubin is excessive. And why are we so stressing nutrition here? The important thing for this nutrition is because the more baby feeds, the more elimination happens, and once the bilirubin is converted into its soluble form, it can come out through the pee and the poo. So it's super important to breastfeed and to keep your eye on the elimination patterns of the baby. So any questions anyone has, or is this all?
I had a question. So how can we make sure that the baby is safe before going home and after this phototherapy?
Yes. So one of the things we'll notice, like I mentioned right now, we'll make sure baby's feeding well, baby's peeing and pooing well, and the temperature is, in control. And finally, when the blood test comes back and it's in the normal range, then we know that baby's safe. So we do send the baby home with instructions to breastfeed frequently and to notify the physician in case they find the jaundice is, like the baby still appears to be yellow and is not feeding. So that's a safety thing you want to definitely tell the parents about when they go home. And in 2-3 days, we recommend a doctor's follow-up visit so that, we're sure that baby's safe and doing well and not jaundiced. And doing all this will really help to ensure that your baby is not going to get the side effects of extremely high bilirubin levels. Any questions?
Thank you.